The operator of a preschool in Woodlands has been fined $5,000 over the alleged abuse and mistreatment of children under its care. Kinderland has also been ordered to conduct an independent review of child management practices in all of its branches within 3 months. Geraldine Yap with more.
This video of a former teacher allegedly abusing children at a preschool in Woodlands drew public outrage. 33-year-old Lin Min has since been fired and charged in court. And now authorities are taking action against its operator. The Early Childhood Development Agency has fined Kinderland at Woodlands Mart $5,000 given the severity of recent incidents there. Its license tenure has also been reduced to 6 months and will not be renewed unless significant improvements are made in its standard of care. The agency admitted that there were lapses in the investigation process and that the staff involved should have been removed from classroom duties in line with established protocol. That's because in this case, there was clear evidence that child safety was endangered.
ECDA should have done better. We apologize for not getting Kinderland to immediately remove the teacher involved from classroom duties while investigations are still ongoing. We will strengthen our protocol and training of our personnel.
ECDA's investigations also found that another teacher at the preschool had inappropriately restricted the movement of a 3-year-old by securing the child to a chair and using straps. She's been warned and placed under close supervision for 3 months. The centre principal has also been given a warning. She will have to attend refresher training and cannot work as a preschool principal in the meantime. A parent whose child attends the preschool wants more clarity on what would be considered significant improvement for the preschool to renew its license.
I just hope ECDA can act more and to rectify their protocol or the supervision over the childcare center, revisit their current procedures, any lapse or improvement required, so to eliminate any future possible abuse in childcare center.
ECDA says 2 more reports were made about incidents in another Kinderland preschool at Sunshine Place in Choa Chu Kang. In one case, a teacher was seen pushing a 5-year-old child. Police investigations are ongoing. The second case here involves 2 teachers strapping a child in his chair on several occasions. The centre has been told to stop this practice, and both teachers have been given stern reminders. ECDA has instructed Kinderland to conduct an independent review on child management practices in all their preschools and to report findings within 3 months. The agency will also closely monitor the preschools during this period, including carrying out unannounced checks.
Well, in a statement, Kinderland said that it deeply regrets the incidents and has taken steps to improve child safety. It accepts ECDA's decisions and will comply with them.
And for more, we're joined by Dianne Swee-Seet Pillar head at the Early Childhood Development Centres for Anglican Preschool Services. Welcome and thanks for coming in to the studio, Ms. Swee-Seet. Now, we talk about safeguards, a lot of attention to them now, but I was thinking of a real-life situation where you've got maybe 1, 2, 3 children throwing violent tantrums, and I see them in supermarkets all the time. Yes. Now, if you are a teacher in charge or educator in charge of looking after these children, their behaving like this might put other children at risk. You need to stop them. When you talk about safeguards, in principle, you know what they are. In practice, when children are acting up, are the safeguards enough so that teachers know how far they can go, what they need to do?
Yes. So it's interesting you mentioned something like this because it happens every day. So when we say children's safety being a top priority for us, we say that even children who's within the vicinity, we want to keep them safe. So which means that the second teacher would need to be deft enough to make sure other children are safe, while the first teacher tries to keep the first child who's throwing a tantrum, make him calm down first, then to talk to him. There must be a reason why the child is feeling like that. Then when it comes to a bigger picture about safeguards, we talk about there are a lot of safeguards already put in place, but what's important really is the execution of it. So center leaders, we say, be on the ground, feel the pulse of your center, know the children, know your teachers. You can then see the well-being of your teachers. Once you walk around, you see who are the teachers who are not feeling too good, or you hear a little louder voices. Take time to check in with the teacher. Know what is she really feeling, why is she being louder than other days. So understanding your teachers, building good relationships with them, and having regular check-in sessions, I think those are important.
Ms. Swee-Seet, what I hear you say is that they need a tag team almost. You mentioned the first teacher and the second teacher. You're kind of teachers watching each other and supporting each other in their work. But in practice, you know, when you have a room full of children, I mean, how consistent can the sort of enforcement of that be, the support of that? How consistent can it be?
So in an environment, it's important that teachers are able to watch each other. You must have each other's back. So the infrastructure is very important.
But how is that assured, though? How is that bond between them, that looking out for each other? I mean, who, you know, sort of puts that directive in place?
So we can have like conversations between staff members. We have center leaders organizing such conversations where teachers have time to reflect on their practices. So reflection is very important. They must have enough time to be carved out for such precious conversations to reflect on their practices, to talk about what are some of the challenges that they face, allow them to air and to be able to even ask one another, what solutions do you have? I have a child who's always like that. What can we do? So once you're able to share your good practices or even find solutions amongst one another, your center leader can also come in to help you out. So support from one another is very important.
All right, the school may have its own standards, but parents now, and I hear this informally from teachers, they say the job is much harder, not the students, but the parents. So you want to reassure the parents and say, you know, your children, they're being cared for in the best possible way, and we're giving them also the education that the parents have sent them to schools like yours, so that they can acquire these things and give them an advantage as they, even before they enter primary one.
That's right.
What do you say to tell parents who might be anxious and maybe hard to appease? We are doing the best we can, and there's only so much sometimes that a school can do on top of what is done in the family home.
Yes, that's right. So thank you for that question. We say lest we forget in a time like this, where it takes one incident. It's a very, very unfortunate incident. There are hundreds of other educators who show up every day with love, with unselfishness, to give of themselves, to be able to bring the best in early childhood experiences to their children. So I say, reach out. If you have any concerns, communications is key. Building relationship, to communicate, seeking to clarify, rather than to wait for an incident or to hear from someone else that, hey, I hear something else about this teacher. Go direct to the teacher or the center leader and seek to clarify any concerns that you may have.
So for the most part, the system works?
Yes, it does.
Is that what you're saying? I mean, that the safeguards are there and that people who, you know, really want to be in this job are doing this job?
They are doing more than their job. They bring their love. They go back home. They do not end at 5. They continue to do their work. They continue to think about how can I bring my lessons better to the children the next day. They are still planning for the excursion. They are planning for now the year end. There's so much up against them. So those are the challenges. It's not just when you show up, but it is the after hours.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Swee-Seet, for coming into the studios. Dianne Swee-Seet, they're pillar head at the Early Childhood Development Centres for Anglican Preschool Services. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.